Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for Anime Uproar, and this is just crazy. We just saw a massive QUIRK Awakening that clearly foreshadows the future of Deku and One for All. A fiery clash between brothers has come to an end in an epic way, and things are getting more and more intense in this final arc. Before we get into it, quick thank you to Ninokuni Crossworlds for sponsoring this video. Have you ever wanted to live inside a Studio Ghibli movie? I freaking love Ghibli on a spiritual level, so when I heard that Netmarble is coming out with a new immersive Studio Ghibli RPG, I was hooked instantly. The game is called Ninokuni Crossworlds. It is absolutely stunning. It features music by the legendary Joe Hisaishi, and I just can't wait to play this game. Choose from 5 different characters, each wielding their own unique weapons, and enter a magnificent fantasy world full of beauty, action, and adventure. This is an absolutely massive release, and it's available for pre-registration right now. Just click the top link down in the description. Ninokuni Crossworlds is available on mobile and PC, and it literally has everything that I could ever want in a game. They even allow players to join together and create and expand their own kingdoms. They can compete with other kingdoms in various PvP modes, and they can then fight for the title of the best kingdom on the server against rival kingdoms. Honestly, this is so cool. You're gonna love this game, so pre-register right now, link in the description. Finally, this video will contain Boku no Hero manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. So in the previous chapter, Horikoshi went out of his way to emphasize the importance of Flash Fire Fist as the strongest known fire-based move. The previous few chapters also established the fact that Dabi is totally out of control. He is going berserk and threatening to burn down entire city blocks. Because of this, Shoto knows that he must stop his brother now, and he knows that he has to be the one to do it. No one else can solve this problem for him. He has to step up and take responsibility for his villain brother. And directly related to that, the latest chapter starts off with a flashback to just before the Class 1A students headed out to fight the villains. At this point, Deku is worried about Shoto because Shoto has decided that he will be the one to take down Dabi, and since Dabi is Shoto's brother, there is a real possibility that Shoto won't be able to bring himself to hurt him. If this were to happen, if Shoto were to break down emotionally or decide to take it easy on Dabi, then he and many others could end up losing their lives. This is a massive burden that Shoto has taken upon his own shoulders, and Deku is justifiably concerned. But Shoto tells Deku not to worry about him because this is his fight and he cannot run away from it. Dabi is a product of his family's sins, and even though Endeavor is the one who is most responsible for what happened to Dabi, Endeavor is not the best person to fight him. First of all, Endeavor's guilt could become a huge distraction for him and lead to his defeat, and second of all, Dabi's flames are stronger than Endeavor's. And with Dabi willing to go all out and destroy his own body in the process, Endeavor could be killed in a potential fight to the death with Dabi, which would be a terrible blow for the heroes. And I mean this both in terms of manpower and in terms of morale. We have to remember that Endeavor is still the #1 pro hero, and that position has a lot of symbolic value. If the #1 pro hero were to be killed, the public would panic even harder than they have been panicking up to this point, and the heroes would lose all faith in their ability to actually win this war. Furthermore, because of the unique nature of his quirk, Shoto has a trick up his sleeve that Endeavor simply doesn't possess and could never possess. Shoto has a brand new ability that he has been perfecting, an ability which could prove to be crucial for ultimately defeating Dabi's unbelievably powerful flames. This is Shoto's ultimate move that he has been working on for quite a while, and as a fiery X appears on Shoto's chest, Deku comments that it kind of looks like Flash Fire Fist, so the most powerful fire move, but there is something different about it. Shoto had been working on this move while Deku was out being a vigilante, so Deku wasn't there to witness the process. But he soon gets a first-hand demonstration of what makes this move so special. Despite the fact that a fiery X has appeared on Shoto's chest, Kaminari is able to poke the flame directly because it's not hot at all. The secret to this ultimate move is using both sides of Shoto's quirk at the same time. He is using the flame side of his quirk and the ice side of his quirk in one single move. But he's not just using fire and ice separately, like, oh, he's throwing ice and fire at his opponent at the same time, so it's considered one move. No, Shoto seems to be literally combining the properties of fire and ice into one entity. Now, I'm not a rocket surgeon, so I don't really understand science that well, but if I understood correctly, Shoto uses his heart as the center focus, and he then circulates both cold and warm blood from his heart throughout the rest of his body. This creates a total thermal equilibrium, and he can then manifest this fiery X that isn't even hot, meaning that it's something like cold fire. It's ice that behaves like a flame. It's ice and flame at the same time. Shoto is no longer just using the ice side of his quirk to cool his body down enough for him to use the fire side effectively. His ice and fire are effectively becoming one single entity, a new entity. And this is why Shoto has to be the one to fight Dabi. No one else has the ability to counter Dabi's impossibly hot blue flames with what is essentially flaming ice. Despite the serious emotional baggage that comes with it, no one is better suited to take Dabi down than Shoto himself. Back on the battlefield in the present, Shoto and Dabi are still going all out, and it looks like the entire city is about to go up in flames as a result of their fiery clash. At this moment, Shoto is using the ice side of his quirk to try to cool down Dabi and his flames, and also to try to minimize the damage that Dabi is doing to their surroundings. Dabi acknowledges that Shoto is definitely the right man to take him on. The ice side of Shoto's quirk allows him to withstand Dabi's brutal fiery attacks, and his ice side can also negate and quench Dabi's massive wall of fire, which is consuming everything in sight. Dabi is impressed by Shoto's determination and his sense of moral conviction. But morality is certainly not something that Dabi cares about, and in that sense, the two brothers could not be more different. We then see Dabi assuming a truly terrifying form. In this moment, he really looks like a monster, like something completely inhuman. This is why I've been saying that Dabi must be some sort of Nomu-human hybrid. Not only was he healed from his injuries using the same type of procedure that was used to create the Nomu, but his behavior and energy have become truly monstrous in these last few chapters. Horikoshi is clearly signaling that Dabi has abandoned all shreds of his humanity and that he has become something other than human. Dabi then launches a massive fiery attack into the ground, and this destroys the surface beneath them in a horrible, scorching inferno. But Burnen and the other sidekicks intervene to help Shoto withstand the flames, even though they end up taking a lot of damage themselves as a result of their intervention. Burnen definitely looks injured at this point, and my waifu is in danger senses started going off like crazy during this chapter. But there isn't much time to dwell on that because the brutal clash between the two brothers continues. So I'm just gonna say, Horikoshi, please don't burn us again. Anyway, Shoto remembers his past and how lonely he had been as a result of his family history and as a result of Endeavor's behavior. He felt like everyone else was far ahead of him socially. They knew how to communicate and open up and be friends with each other, while Shoto had to learn all of these things from scratch when he finally entered the UA. We gotta remember that he spent his entire life essentially isolated from people and training with his father all the time, and this made him feel lonely and insecure. Thankfully, his classmates from 1A didn't judge him or reject him for being so withdrawn. Instead, every single one of them was there for him, and they gave him a place where he could be safe and where he could overcome his childhood trauma. And when he says all of them, he also means Mineta, so the Mineta haters just have to deal with it. So with this in mind, a fierce Shoto launches his ultimate move, the move that will show everyone what he is really capable of. Shoto launches a massive attack called Great Arctic Tsunami, which to me looks like an ice-cold firestorm. I really don't know how else to describe it. As he unleashes this tremendous attack at point-blank range, Shoto tells Dabi that he can still turn back, even if he has to be forced to do it. Finally, he asks Dabi to please just stop all of this. as the attack connects, we see glimpses of both Dabi and Shoto's faces back when they were kids, before everything went horribly wrong. And then in the final panel of the chapter, we see that Shoto's icy firestorm attack has seemingly frozen the entire city block around them. Dabi looks like he may have just been defeated, and even the text on the final page declares that Shoto has just surpassed his limits, and that he has finally quelled his brother's flames. And that is how this crazy chapter ends. But does this really mean that Dabi has been defeated? The chapter certainly seems to imply that this is the case, especially with that text on the final page. And of course, we got all of that build up about Shoto's ultimate move, and then the epic way that he unleashed that move also seems to suggest that he just won the fight. But Horikoshi could flip the script on us again, so we can't say for sure. Dabi is no longer a normal human who will just go down when a normal human is supposed to go down. Dabi is truly a monster now, that much has been made clear, so who knows what he is actually capable of. The big question is this: will Dabi die after pushing his own body way too far, or do the events of this chapter imply that he has been defeated and injured, but not killed? Before this chapter, I was leaning towards the possibility of Dabi actually dying, because his insane mental state and self-destructive actions seem like a pretty big death flag. But the conclusion of this chapter makes me question whether this is really the end for him. Even as he unleashed his ultimate attack upon Dabi, Shoto was still begging his brother to just stop all of this. So Shoto could still be hoping that Dabi will see the error of his ways and repent. With that in mind, Shoto may have held back against Dabi, and that could prove to be a terrible mistake if Dabi survives and then continues to hurt people in the future. Let me know what you guys think. What will happen next? Will Dabi die? Will he survive but just be extremely injured and therefore defeated, at least for now? Or will he somehow find a way to continue fighting? Did Shoto hold back against his brother in the hopes that Dabi can still change? If so, will Shoto come to regret this decision? Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Also, what did you think about Shoto's ultimate move, which somehow combines the properties of fire and ice on a molecular level? He seems to be creating a completely different entity, something that doesn't appear in nature, something like ice fire or fiery ice or whatever you want to call it. Finally, could this crazy ultimate move by Shoto hint at Deku's ultimate quirk awakening? If Shoto can seemingly combine the two sides of his quirk on a molecular level to create something entirely new, something that doesn't even exist in nature, then could Deku do something similar by combining all of the different quirk factors within One for All into a single entity? Will Deku also learn to unite all the different quirks within him into a single quirk that defies the laws of nature and becomes the ultimate weapon? That would be a true One for All quirk awakening, and it would completely change the game in MHA. This development with Shoto and his ultimate move could be a lot more important to the story than we realize right now, so we have to pay close attention to what happens next. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more MHA content in the future, leave a quick like and comment. It only takes a second, but it helps me out a lot. And of course, if you're new to Anime Uproar, or maybe you watch our videos but you just haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a quick favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Anime Uproar. Thanks again to Ni no Kuni Crossworlds for sponsoring this video. Check it out, link in the description. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.